let's talk about women. So what do you think are some things that I saw a post by you the other day and then it vanished. It was like a story you had up and then I couldn't get it again.
So
and it was something about women, maybe you deleted it. Something about women, things that women like that they're afraid to admit, or are there things that you would say women like either in the bedroom or in a boyfriend or stuff that they won't tell you, but that they actually really like in a man or in a sexual experience?
Yeah, I mean, publicly, they're not likely to say they like, say, more extreme things. Like, it's very unlikely not so much these days. A certain class of women tend to be a lot more explicit with what they're into in the bedroom, but those women tend to also be professionally in this industry as well, right? But the average woman is not going to run around saying, oh, I like to be choked.
How common is that?
It's a lot more common than you'd think.
Really?
If a guy knows what he's doing correctly.
Is it role play? Is it?
No, I mean, correct choking technique is not like you're trying to make someone pass out.
Right.
Correct choking technique is about restricting like blood flow to the head, so just a lightheaded kind of euphoric-y.
Oh, okay, and this is all consensual before people get carried away, you know.
It's not about the windpipe and stopping people from breathing.
It's not about hurting someone.
It's the complete opposite.
Complete opposite.
That's the thing of it. Like, so you can have two people in a totally consensual sexual relationship, and they can get up to some really freaky, kinky stuff. And if a stranger walked in and saw what was going on, they would probably call the cops. Like this can happen, and people can consent to things that are rather extreme. I mean, I would not even consider choking to be one of those extreme things. I'm talking things even worse than that. Well, not worse, but more extreme.
Detailed.
More details than that. And it's totally fine. Like, what happens between two people in the privacy of their own bedroom isn't anyone else's business.
Right.
But it's not about hurting anyone else. It's always about giving pleasure. And that's the thing that people get wrong about a lot of, say, BDSM stuff, is they think it's about pain, but it's really all about pleasure. And it's about the different ways that people can derive pleasure.
Now, you hear from men and women seeking advice from you, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
What is the ratio of that? Is
it
mostly guys?
It's predominantly men, yes.
Okay, if you do hear from women, and you're saying you do occasionally, what are they asking you? What are their troubles?
They ask me how can they be better for their partner.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so they're not necessarily struggling with a partner that's doing something wrong, or they're looking for like, how can I amp this up?
So I'll get two kind of women contacting me. One will be saying, hey, how can I be better in bed for my partner? And the other one will be saying, my partner has read your stuff, thank you. That's basically, that's basically the other correspondence.
I love it.
So if she has a problem in the bedroom, she's like, she'll go to my stuff and like subtly direct her partner to it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is it mostly single men or married men that you hear from?
Most of my customers' clients are single, or they're casually dating.
So is it mostly then guys who aren't getting enough sex, want to have a more active sex life, want to perfect their skill? Because I always think, truthfully, like I got married late. I was very lucky. I'm very attracted to my husband. We have kept the heat going. But I remember thinking to myself, do I want to get married? I was looking around at a lot of married friends. None of them were having sex, like at all. Like, I mean, 10 years. 12 years. I was like, you're not having sex for 10 years. Like, you're not having sex. I mean, big, long stretches of time. And I was like, oh my God, is marriage like killing sex? Like, I don't know if I want to do, I don't want to sign up for that. And I realized a lot of it is, choosing your partner. And there's a lot that goes into that. And what is the dynamic in the household, and what you're talking about that male dominance and gender roles, all of that comes into play in ways that you don't even realize. But do you hear from people who aren't having sex in marriage, and what do you tell them?
Yep. I do also have a bunch of people who are married who've taken my stuff and learned from me, and I get people saying things like, we just had the best sex of our marriage in like 20 years. Like 60-year-old couples.
And what is it that you are you giving them technique, or are you giving them guys, more like lifestyle, like it needs to wrap around to your whole life? Or
for the guys, it's very much like step-by-step breakdown, like technique.
Oh, wow. I have to, you know what? I'm going to have to pretend to be a guy, get in there and get, I'm curious what you're saying.
You don't have to pretend.
I'm just so curious. What is a step by step? Is it literally like walk into the room, do this, touch her this way? Is it very specific, the advice you give?
Yeah. Some of my stuff is really as specific as that. Yeah. And because I tried to make my stuff autism proof as much as I possibly could. Because I think because a lot of guys, I'm not shitting on autism actually. I think autism is a superpower, by the way. But there's a lot of dudes who approach sex and relationships with women they find it difficult because they're more like logical, rational kind of people. So I'm like, okay, well, how can I teach this guy something that is part technique and part art in a way? Like it's about understanding, like there's a feel to being good in the bedroom and having chemistry and connection with somebody that is really hard to kind of pencil in like mathematically, step 1, step 2, step 3, right?
Yeah.
So I literally break things down on a spectrum from, speaking of spectrum, from like super vanilla to like borderline BDSM.
Wow.
And like I baby step a dude across that, and he can start wherever he's at, and he can go to wherever he wants to go, right? Where he is comfortable in going, which is super important, because if he's not comfortable doing it, then she sure as hell won't be comfortable with him doing it, right? But I can baby step a guy across that whole spectrum, and he can pick up whatever skills he wants along the way, and it's great. And then he's got new tools he can add into the bedroom, and that's what happens with these people who come to me who are married, been in very long-term relationships. It's just this injection of new ideas and not necessarily even new ideas, but new way of doing things, which again is creating that polarity.
Yeah.
Him being more dominant, her being in her feminine, being more submissive, and really, really enjoying that. And then bang, outside the bedroom, all of a sudden she's not nagging. All of a sudden she's not, whining for him to take the trash out. She's happy.
She's satisfied.
Right.
It's like eating a big old meal. Sometimes you're hungry. You got to get fed. Just saying.
But and he's also recognizing, okay, if I step up and lead this way in the bedroom, and take charge, tell her what to do, whatever. Maybe I could also do that outside the bedroom, and it would manifest just as good results as well. So it's like I find this as a really good way to teach men how to be more masculine. I don't call myself like a masculinity coach or anything like that. I'm just some pervert who knows how to teach you, teach you to get your rocks off properly. But it explains a lot. It's a great example. The dynamic is correct. And because it's a lot easier to fix a bad relationship starting from the bedroom as well. Let's say, for example, the masculine and the feminine polarity is off in a relationship, right? She's maybe nagging too much. She's being a bit too masculine. She's trying to lead. He's trying to lead. It's conflicting, right? If he tried to fix that relationship or start putting his foot down or whatever, outside the bedroom, he's going to run into a lot of resistance, right? Because all of society is telling her, you don't need no man, you should be independent, strong, independent woman.
Right.
He's fighting against all of this outside propaganda. Inside the bedroom, it's privacy. It's just the two of us. And women will be a lot more in tune with their nature in the bedroom than they are outside the bedroom.
How much truth do you think there is to the idea that women need a lot of foreplay and that women won't enjoy a quickie? And because that's said a lot, without bringing up my personal experience, I'm trying to be objective and just say, like, how much truth do you think there is to that?
Women can enjoy quickies, absolutely. Like, women can be it's about the passion, right? You can be passionate, and you can have great passionate sex, and it can be quick. Okay. And the emotion of sex is a lot more important for women.
That's right.
And that idea of so she might not actually get off, like she might not actually climax and reach orgasm if it's a quickie. It's a quickie. But it's still a passionate exchange, like lust-filled moment. I can't keep my hands off you, whatever. She's still going to enjoy that experience and have an emotional experience and remember that.